Welcome to Create Power Yoga Online. During the course of your class today, remember that all of the poses we do are modifiable and changeable. If a pose is not working for your body, please feel free to get out or find something that does work for you. Our teachers will offer modifications throughout class. Remember that yoga should have a little bit of sensation that you can breathe through, but never too much sensation or pain. Thanks for coming and enjoy class. Welcome to another Lengthen Tone class. In this class, we take 6 movement flows and do them 10 times each for full body awakening and full spinal movement. We will start today in tabletop. And we're beginning our Lengthen Tone today with some breath work. Before this breath work, to set up, draw your ribs a little bit together. Think about elevating your stomach up towards the ceiling and notice that your lower back lengthens out. If you find that your hips are really pointed up towards the ceiling, take a little bit of a posterior tilt to your pelvis by drawing your belly button up towards your spine. And our spine is really staying in this position for this whole movement. This breath is not about moving the spine, it's about moving the belly and what's called the transverse abdominal, the deepest abdominal muscles that support your core and spine. So on your inhale, go ahead and take your belly and let your belly just drop towards the floor. Again, your lower back doesn't move, but think about this as just letting all of your organs, all of your belly just hang out. Now on your next exhale, take your ribs and your hips, wrap them towards each other, and pick your belly button back up towards your spine, squeezing the whole surface of your abdomen up towards the ceiling. So that's 1. A little bit faster this time. Inhale, let your belly drop. Full exhale. Pull your abdomen in. You might notice a little movement of your spine here, but again, it is not the point. This is 5. Think about hollowing out through just your belly. 7. 8. 9. Last one. 10. Letting yourself relax, sit back, shake out your hands a little bit, and come all the way up to standing. In standing here, we're taking a slightly wider squat. Toes are parallel, so you're just a little bit wider than hip width apart. We're not in a full squat position. We're not in a yogi squat where the toes pointed out. So toes parallel, a little bit more than hip width apart. Bring your arms out in front of you. And we're taking a squat down here. Bend your knees. There can be a little bit of weight in your toes, just sitting as low as possible. As we sit low in this flow, I want you to think about your hips separating, your sit bones getting a little bit wider. This is about allowing your pelvis and your pelvic floor to relax on your way down. And we're going to exhale our way up. Squeeze everything towards center. So inhale the way down. Exhale. Expand. Exhale. Again, just sitting as low as you're able to with a tall spine. 4. 5. If you'd like to, you can add arms. Bringing your arms down as you sit up. 7. 9 and 10. And getting that little warm up through your legs. Turn around on your mat. Bring your right foot in front, your left foot behind, setting up for a pyramid position. Bring your hands down to the mat or to blocks if you have them, if you need them. And we're taking pyramid a little bit differently today. Take your back foot and step it directly behind. So in the same line as your front foot, kind of like you are standing on a tightrope. You might already feel this a little bit more through the outside of the front leg than you usually do. This is your exhale here. With every time we go into this pyramid position, you're taking your hips and pressing them up and back to lengthen the legs. Notice your heels pushing into the floor. With our inhales, we are bending the knees and lowering the back knee directly behind the front foot. So that was your inhale. With your exhale, hips press, straighten your legs. Inhale for 2, 3, 5, 4. Emphasize your hips pushing back. 3, 2, and that was 1. Go ahead, just keep your hands down. Bring your left foot forward, your right foot back, and then find that tightrope position with your right foot. It might feel very different on this side. It might feel similar. Coming into it just with no judgment, meeting it exactly where it is. And with our inhale, you might have to adjust your feet a little. You're dipping your knee down to meet your heel. Exhale, hips push up and back. Especially this left hip, your front hip pressing up and back. That was 1. 2. 4. Keep your toes grounded. 5. 6. 7. Stick with breath. 8. 9. That was 10. Step your feet together. Stand all the way up. Taking your right foot forward on your mat, your left foot back. Finding a triangle position. So your back foot is turned towards the side of your mat. Your front foot towards the front of your mat. And you could think of it as your heels. Your front heel is lined up with your back arch-ish, depending on your body. But for most people, you're right around that stance. Bring your hands to your hips. Bring your spine long and forward and push your hips back behind you. And by behind you, I mean to the back of the mat, not sticking your butt out and leaning forward. So hips press towards the back of your mat. The spine is long. This bottom hand can stay down on your leg, or it can reach up. And here, we're just taking little pulses, very small movements. So again, reaching your left arm up, opening your chest. Bottom arm is optional, but it's forward if you want it up. It's on your hip if you want it down. And I'll show you both. And we're just taking a little curve of the spine and a press long. Press long as your exhale. Think of that breath that we just did. 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Come all the way up. Sometimes those small movements are a lot harder than they seem like they would be. Keeping that core stable in your triangle. Not everything has to be a big movement. So we're switching over. Left foot now points the same direction as your mat. Right foot is perpendicular. Arch is about in line. And starting to find this on the other side, pressing into your left hip, draw your spine long. Might get a little hip pop like I just did. Reach up towards the ceiling, and then bottom hand again is an option. Out or in. I'm going to start with mine down. So we're taking that little pickup of your bottom rib, and then exhale long. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, reach through your hands, 8, 9, 10, and come all the way up. Shake yourself out. Come all the way down to your mat, back into tabletop. Taking some twisting here. And we'll start with your left arm out to the side. Your arm comes out to the side and just a gentle reach of your shoulders up towards the ceiling. Your arm does not need to throw all the way back. Let your shoulders lead this and your arm follow. This is your inhale. And we're threading the needle on your exhale. Thread it through, but don't drop your shoulder down to the mat. We're staying in this little hover. Inhale, reach back up. Twist and hover for 2. Right arm can bend. This is 4. Good. 5. This is 6. 8. 2 more. Last one, twist it through, get totally empty. And back up to tabletop. Right arm comes out to the side, that little lift of your chest up. And thread it through with your exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, totally empty, 10, and back into tabletop. Sit yourself down, shake out your wrists for just a moment, and then meet on your mat on your belly. Our last flow here is a little bit of upper back strength. Lower back begins to lengthen, just like you did in the tabletop at the very beginning of class. Using your exhales to pull your belly up towards your spine and feel that length, that press of your tailbone down and behind you. Noticing again, if your hips feel lifted off of the floor, your belly sinking down, lengthening your lower back. And we're keeping that lower back engagement and core engagement here. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Arms squeeze beside you, elbows squeeze in beside you, and feel a little bit of pressure, of squeeze between your shoulder blades as your shoulder blades come together, but also down your back, tucking them into your back pockets. And our 10 movements here are really nice and small. We're going to exhale on the floor, and inhale, lift your arms and chest. And exhale, floor. Inhale, lift. Again, belly stays engaged. Belly button up towards the ceiling. 3, 4, 5. Just emphasizing your shoulders. 6, 7. Think about your elbows pressing down and back as well. That tends to give our shoulders just a little more direction. 8, 9. Last one, 10. And down. Bring your hands underneath your head, windshield your wiper your feet a little bit back and forth. And that was our last movement of this class. So just taking a moment here, maybe rolling over onto your side or onto your back, or just staying on your belly if that feels really cozy. Pausing your video if you'd like a longer Shavasana here, but at the very least taking 3 breaths here just to let your body settle down, let it kind of process and see what it just did. Bring your hands to heart center. Acknowledging yourself for your practice, for your time. Namaste.